buenos días a todos, señores accionistas, señoras y señores.
We're celebrating this extraordinary meeting with the purpose of bringing upon you a proposal for capital increase through non-cash contributions for a share swap with the shareholders of Technocom Telecommunications and Energy, SA, as formulated by Indra in the terms and conditions which I will refer to later and which were made public during the announcement of the offering. First of all, in my name and on behalf of the board, I would like to welcome you here. I would like to thank you for your presence and for your confidence in Indra. In this panel, we have the chairman, the CEO, the presidents of the two committees on retributions, appointments, audit and compliance, the secretary and the deputy secretary, together with myself. The other members of the board, together with the senior management of this company, are sitting in the first rows of this room. I now yield the floor to the secretary so that he tells us about the agenda for today. Good morning. This meeting has been called through the corresponding publication in the website for this company and the website for the Spanish Stock and Exchange Commission on the 18th of January 2017, and as well as in Cinco Días, the Spanish newspaper, on the 19th of January 2017, in accordance with Article 519 of the corresponding law. We have requested the Notary Public, Mr. Gerardo von Wichmann Rovira, to take care of the minutes in accordance with Article 203.2 of existing legislation in Spain. Since the day of the call for this meeting and until today, this company has made all information available in accordance with Article 518 of the corresponding law. An electronic forum for shareholders has been made available, both for shareholders and the voluntary associations of shareholders as registered in the special registry for the Spanish Stock and Exchange Commission. The information regarding point number 2 of the agenda has been facilitated correspondingly to the Notary Public. Data on the capital for this board are the following. We have 153 shareholders present with 35 million shares, representing a quorum of 21.766%, representing 446.79 million euro shares. The total accounts for 899 shareholders, 115 million shares, which account for 70.477%. We have already registered distance votes, proxies to the members of the board, and the shares that belong to the members of the board themselves. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. After listening to the preliminary details on attendance, I hereby declare the start of this extraordinary general shareholder meeting, which starts right now. I now yield the floor to the Notary Public, Mr. Gerardo von Wichmann Rovira. Good morning. I must ask you if you have reservations or objections to the appointment of President and Secretary on the quorum on the formation of this panel. If there's no objections or reservations, we may proceed. We now yield the floor to the Secretary so that the procedure can be explained regarding the shareholder interventions. If any shareholder wishes to speak, to request information or clarification regarding the points in the agenda, or in order to formulate proposals which fall beyond the scope of the agenda, please identify yourselves. I would like to ask the shareholders that wish to speak to tell us about the questions that you would like to raise so that you can make this meeting as agile as possible. If you want your statements to be included in the minutes, please hand them in to the notary. Those shareholders that tell us about their intention to speak must do so after the President allows them to do so. You should use the microphones laid out in the center of this room. After every shareholder has spoken, you will have to await instructions.
Buenos días de nuevo, señoras y señores.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen, shareholders, and welcome to this extraordinary shareholder meeting, where we will propose a capital increase for a public takeover bid from Technocom. In the ordinary meeting, in June, we saw the balance sheet for 2015. We saw our perspectives and our future plans for the company. At that time, I shared with you the ambitious set of actions, changes, and decisions for restructuring that we had in mind to change the size of our business. We aim at becoming a profitable company with a clear ambition of sustainable and ordered growth. We have managed to move in the right direction to achieve these goals, and we obviously have to wait until June this year. But allow me to say that Indra is now a stronger company, a more consolidated company from a financial standpoint. We are clearly focused on our strategic strengths, clearly focused on our products and assets, with a profound operating transformation plan underway, and above all, with an optimized alignment with the requirements and expectations of our shareholders and investors. But the challenges that we have to face are huge in such a dynamic competitive environment. Be it because of the demands of our industry, of the geographical reach of our implementation, or to the large number of variables that have an impact on our business, our company needs to stay in a permanent state of innovation and continuous improvement for its own competitiveness in order to deliver the right strategic response to this complex and dynamic environment. Our clients throughout the world expect that we be their technological partner, reliable, dependable, and in a position to deploy the best possible solutions with the most advanced technology and maximum efficiency and competitiveness. And because of this maximum competitiveness is that we are here today to allow you to vote on the public takeover bid for Technocom. Let me share with you some basic strategic thoughts on the business model at Indra. As you know, our activity develops around technology related to key business operations in multiple industries: transport, defense and security, financial services, public administration and health, telecommunications and media, energy and industry. Our vision is about becoming the technological partner for our clients at the heart of their operations worldwide. Developing this vision for different industries has allowed us to reach into two different segments that take account of two very different dynamics. I'm talking about transport and defense, and information technology on the other. The first one accounts for approximately 45% of our income, whereas the other accounts for the other 55%. In the transport and defense and security markets, our activity is closely related to the development, manufacturing, and deployment of hardware, technological equipment, and control systems. We design civilian and military equipment for airspace surveillance, control centers, navigation aid, signaling, communication, access control, simulation, drones, electronic defense, etc. This activity is closely related to investing in the development and evolution of our own products, which by themselves are the key differentiating element in our offering, as opposed to our competitors. Efficiency is of the utmost importance, and on-site work play a relatively smaller role in everything we do. We focus heavily on exporting. The IT area responds to a completely different business model. Our own product is, again, an important component of everything we do, but in this case, it goes along with other services such as consulting, implementation, integration, application management, outsourcing, and BPO. So, service delivery, appropriate management of those services, and our close collaboration with the human teams of our client play an important role in everything we do in this business. This is an activity that is very intense in terms of the people required, with a great volatility in demand, with a limited margin to what we can do, and with a potential impact in the profitability of our business activity. It is a fact The IT services from Indra have deteriorated recently in their profitability due to various and complex reasons. We haven't had enough agility to respond to the changes in demand. We need different levers for the differentiation of our offering, and we need to take account of the growing trend to the delocalization of production linked to competition from global companies, especially in Asia. Our IT business demands a more intensive model in implementation and local deployment, both in the sales and the after-sales phases. That makes it necessary to keep resources in those geographies where we have an activity, if we want to efficiently manage whatever we have at hand. The intrinsic differences between the models and their competitive dynamics have a clear and very visible impact in the profitability that we have in both business areas. Allow me to give you the latest figures that have been published for the first 9 months of 2016. The transport and defense markets generated a total of 847 million euros with a contribution margin of 155 million. That accounts for 18%. In that period, the markets in IT generated a significantly larger market in sales with over 1.1 billion euros, but with a contribution of only 110 million. That's 10%. So no profit coming from this area. We have restructured the company. We have undergone a strategic transformation of our business, and we have seen an improvement in the contribution margin of more than 4 points. These are some of our main challenges. On the one hand, improving the contribution from our IT business area in a context of global, aggressive, and growing competitiveness. It may sound obvious, but allow me to tell you about how important it is to increase our margins for the long-term success of this company. If we want to be more profitable, we really need to do our best as a company to have more capacity and strategic flexibility for the future. A higher margin will give us solid foundation and the necessary resources to build and invest on the growth of our business. We will be strategically more competitive for our customers. They will give us more capacity to react. It will allow us to invest in projects and in innovation, whilst improving our portfolio of products. A higher margin will give us added flexibility and added resources to attract and retain the best talent. Therefore, more profitability will allow us to be a more attractive, powerful, and competitive company with better future outlooks, both for our investors, our customers, and for ourselves as part of the company. But how can we deliver on the quantitative and qualitative fronts for this profitability? Allow me to mention 2 of the most important elements: the differentiation and superiority of our own solutions. We must avoid the commoditization of our offering, which would lead us into a strategy based only on price. By differentiating and specializing ourselves in our offering, we will be able to generate a clear and tangible value for the business of our customers. Many of the actions already underway in Indra are aligned with that direction. Secondly, the efficiency in the production and delivery of our services. Apart from implementing the best operating practices and an excellent management of infrastructures and resources, it is important to retain and keep and increase the critical mass that we have achieved in our clients and geographies. A better scale, together with best practices in operating efficiency, will allow us to commercially position ourselves in a more solid way. These guidelines define our strategy in our IT business area so that we can deliver a structural and sustainable profitability, simultaneously acting and focusing on income and costs. It is for this reason, it is in this strategic context that we are proposing this public takeover bid on Technocom. This is a response to our need to transform ourselves to make our company evolve in order to improve and consolidate. As we said in the previous shareholder meeting, we would be paying attention to the opportunities for alliances and strategic operations that the market could offer us, both in Spain and elsewhere. In that context, and after our thought After our thoughts on this, we have decided that Technocom is the company that would complement us best. It is the company that would allow us to achieve the higher potential synergies. Technocom is a Spanish company on consulting for IT with a presence in Spain, Portugal, and Latin America. More than 6,500 professionals, 80% of them in Spain. They are heavily consolidated in business areas as important as payments, where 90% of financial institutions in Spain are their customers. They also have a very significant presence in local banks in Latin America. Allow me to give you the basic aspects of our offering for the public takeover bid on Technocom. As you know, on the 29th of November, we announced the public takeover bid on 100% of the capital at Technocom. At that time, Indra had agreed on irreversible takeover bids with shareholders accounting for 52.7% of the capital. The price offered is 4.25 euros per share of Technocom, increased by a mixed payment in cash, 60%, and in Indra shares, 40%, 2.55 euros in cash, and 0.1727 Indra shares for each share at Technocom. The main purpose of this extraordinary meeting is the share swap with Technocom shareholders. The capital increase will take place through non-cash contributions, ordinary shares from Technocom for those shareholders that accept the public takeover bid. Bearing in mind the number of shares and the capital increase, this capital increase, assuming we have 100% approval, through the issuing of 12,956,859 ordinary shares. Each new share will be issued at a price of 9.8461 euros, that's 0.20 euros on face value, and 9.6461 of issuing premium. What are the main benefits of this operation that we bring upon you today? First of all, industrially and strategically speaking, this makes sense. The integration of Technocom would produce a substantial improvement in the positioning of Indra in the Spanish market, with an increase of almost 40% regarding our revenue for 2015. We are hereby creating the leading Spanish company in IT. Larger critical mass, which will allow us to improve on the operating leveraging that we have on fixed costs, thereby producing a positive impact on our profitability. We will be in a position to reinforce our strategy for high added value on our solutions and product. Technocom has developed their own solutions in payments, which complement perfectly our current offering. We complement each other. We will be able to generate new revenues. We have the possibility to offer global solutions from Indra to those customers that Technocom has in countries like Spain, Colombia, Chile, or Mexico. Indra has a very well consolidated strategic presence in Latin America. By adding Technocom, we will be in a position to improve our scale, our commercial relevance, and the capacity to offer and deliver in those IT markets. The integration with Indra will allow them to consolidate their presence in some of our large global accounts, thereby increasing loyalty and generating new opportunities. We also expect that this operation will allow us to increase exposure to the private sector with higher profitability in recent years. This integration generates a high potential for creating value for Indra shareholders. The substantial improvement in operating leveraging will lead into a much higher potential for operating synergies related to the optimization of sales costs and a better management of structural costs. We will be able to deliver in additional savings because of the higher efficiency in the production of everything we do, in the improvement of the operating model, in everything we do near shore and offshore. We are expecting to deliver a significant volume of synergies in income because of our competitive positioning in terms of our geographical footprint, our customer base, and our offering. We have a very significant new potential for new revenues coming from cross-sales and a possible increase in market share, especially in financial services, as a result of the better position we will have to lead and consolidate our two companies. We identify potential savings and additional costs associated to improving the scale of our business and in turn related to production efficiencies derived from a better industrialization, rationalization of installations, and an optimizations in expenses in R&D and investments. And last but not least, the necessary conditions to face the process. We will be in a much better position with more financial stability. We are in the current environment in the best possible condition, in the best possible situation to take on this challenge. At the same time, this operation reinforces the team and the talent base at Indra in areas and markets of high strategic value for our company because of their potential and growth. We at Indra value and acknowledge the experience and the capacities of the team and the professionals at Technocom. We will do our best to ensure that this integration is as smooth as possible, and we hope to have them on board as soon as possible at Indra. In order to deliver on this operation for shareholders, clients, and employees, we will have to face and overcome challenges. We will need to define the corporate sales and operating model for the two companies combined. We will need a well-designed integration process and execute it rigorously, diligently, and with leadership at all levels. We will need to define the joint offering, the product map, the organization, the corporate processes and resources, production management infrastructures, and technology and information technology systems. These are all complex aspects that we will design comprehensively. And an aspect we need to pay attention to is people, managing talent and their expectations. Both Indra and Technocom are companies based on knowledge. Talent and motivation will be two keys to our success. We want professionals from Technocom to join us with excitement to this ambitious project. We hope that they will reinforce and complement the large capacity of the human team that we already have in place. I do honestly believe that this integration opens great opportunities of growth for all of them. Lastly, generating value for shareholders through synergies will be a key for success. Market expectations are rather positive. Since our announcement on the public takeover bid, our share value has gone up by 14%. In order to capture and consolidate this potential, we must ensure a systematic follow-up of our commercial and operating synergies. The main focus of our efforts will be there to guarantee the objectives on those synergies and the identification of potential new sources of value, be they strategic, commercial, or operating. In short, and by way of conclusion, acquiring Technocom is a relevant step forward in our strategy. It takes us to the next level, and it certainly improves us structurally. It increases our commercial strength, our offering, our operating efficiency, and our profitability in the value of our company. We are now becoming the leading Spanish company in IT, with almost 3.2 billion euros in turnover, the main Spanish provider for technology solutions in industries such as financial services, energy, industry, government, transport, and defense. We are reinforcing our position and multinational philosophy. We will be an organization with more than 40,000 people in a large number of countries, more than 100, with a high degree of diversity, geographical, functional, and cultural. We're opening here a new stage for Indra, but we are reinstating our strategic objectives and fundamental values. We will focus on profitability and generating cash for our shareholders. We will promote leadership and the technological superiority of our products and solutions through innovation. We will focus on a culture of integrity, rigor, and responsibility in the execution of our projects. We will pursue excellence in management and operating efficiency as a necessary element to continuously improve our competitiveness. We will continuously focus on recognizing and acknowledging the results and the talent of our employees, providing them with the necessary career plans with training and remuneration which is fair. A lot of things are still pending, and the challenges we have to face have difficulty and uncertainty, but if we execute well, we will be stronger and profitable. On behalf of the senior management and the board, I hereby commit myself to the value that we want to create for our shareholders, clients, and employees. I would like to thank all of you and acknowledge the effort you make every day to extend the name, the prestige, and the brand of our company throughout the world. I would certainly like to give a warm welcome to the new professionals from Technocom. And to all of you, I would like to thank you honestly for the trust you have given us in this new stage. Thank you very much.
Initially, there was no shareholder who requested the floor. If that is so, we will continue. Anybody wants to speak who has not requested the floor would want to do so now? Okay, so let's record this in the minutes, please. So now give the floor to the Secretary to report on the definitive quorum. The count of the cards has finalized, and the quorum of capital in this meeting is in attendance 158 shareholders, representing a quorum of 21.73%, 748 by proxy that holds over 80 million shares that account for 48% of the quorum. And this adds up to 906 shareholders who hold 115 million shares with a quorum of 70.47%. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. So now we close the list of attendees, and I certify or I confirm the validity of the quorum established in this meeting that will be empowered or is empowered to deliberate and approve the points on the agenda. I would like to reiterate ask if there is any objections about the statement made by the President as to the validity of this meeting. So, in accordance with the proceeding of proxy approved by the Board of Directors and detailed in the call to this meeting, the proxy votes that have been received without nomination of the persons that they have been given to have been considered granted to the Secretary of the meeting, that is the Secretary of the Board. I would also say that in accordance with the statutes and established in the call to the meeting, we have enabled the means so that shareholders can exercise their votes or delegate their vote by proxy, which have been duly accounted for the quorum that was mentioned earlier. As mentioned in the call to the meeting, to the effects of the Articles 523 and 526 of the Capital Companies Act, it is stated that if a representative is a member of the board, he may be in a situation of conflict of interests that could be subject to votation in this meeting. In what concerns the proxy votes for the Secretary or a member of the board, as well as the cases in which this proxy is extended according to what was stated above, the rules established in the call to the meeting will be applied. So having accounted the proxy votes and those given to the members of the board and the actions that have been approved, the agreements in the point 1 of the agenda will be approved by a majority of votes. As per the law, the result of this vote will be shown in the minutes and will be published at the website of the company. However, if any shareholder wishes to know the result of the votes, he may request so because our systems comprise all the required information. Now, for counting the votes, only the shareholders who wish to vote against or abstain must come to the voting table to be identified and to make their vote. It is stated that there have been no requests for voting of agreements other than those included in the agenda of the meeting. So now we vote the agreement included in point 1 of the agenda, which is as follows. As a result of the consequence of the formulation of the public takeover bid of Technocom, and with an increase of the capital for a maximum value of up to €2,591,371, by means of the issuance of up to 12,956,000 euros of 20 euro cents each, the same class and series than those in circulation, with an issuance premium that will be established by the board at the execution date thereof. Now, the disbursement of the new shares, consisting in Tecnocom shares that accept voluntarily the public takeover bid, or in the exercise of the rights of forceful purchase and sale. We also declare the non-existence of preferential rights included in the possibility of incomplete subscription of the increases in accordance to the Article 4.5 of Royal Decree 1066 of 2007, and including the issuance premium, and to adapt, if appropriate, Article 5 of the bylaws to the new amount of the company capital, and the inclusion in the stock exchange and on the continuous market. Unless any shareholders has any objection, the text of the proposal that was given is taken as read, so therefore we will skip the reading thereof. If any shareholder wishes to vote against or abstain, he can do so by going to the voting table. However, we approved this by sufficient majority. Point 2. From the previous annual general meeting on July 13, 2016, and due to the authorization granted by said meeting, the company has made an issuance of shares accounting for 250 million euros applied by the board on September 26. We have made available at the website of the company the reports of the board and the auditors, Price Waterhouse, that were prepared in accordance with Articles 414 and 417 of the Companies Act as regards the issuance of shares. So this point is simply informative, so it will not be the object of votation at this meeting. So, in the view of the result of the votings, we formally declare as approved the agreement submitted to your approval in the point 1 of the agenda, and we adjourn the session. Thank you very much.